Think about this. Have you ever realized that the one conversation you can never escape is the one happening inside your mind? Now imagine that this voice, your most loyal companion, is determining every day whether you'll succeed or fail, whether you'll achieve wealth or remain trapped by limitations. What if I told you there's a secret, a hidden code that the most successful people in the world use to talk to themselves while most of us ignore it? A secret that can not only transform the way you think, but also radically change your life. And here's the truth. By the end of this video, you'll have this secret in your hands, and it could be the key to everything you desire. Stick with me until the end, because the last lesson I'm going to reveal is the most important and the most powerful of all. With gratitude and love, I welcome you. May divine light and peace of mind be present in your life. I'm Michelle, and this is the Buddhist and Christian Wisdom channel, a space where the profound meeting between the wisdom of Buddhism and Christian faith teaches us to achieve balance, abundance, and peace. Today, we're going to explore what is undoubtedly one of the greatest secrets of successful people, the way they talk to themselves. Because make no mistake, my friend, what you silently say to yourself shapes your life more than anything else. Before we dive into this universe, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. And more, if this reflection is already touching your heart, write in the comments, "I am committed to making money and becoming wealthy." By doing this, you'll already be taking the first step to reprogram your mind for success. Now pause for a moment, listen carefully. What conversation is happening in your head right now? Is it a voice that says, "I can do it, I am capable"? Or is it a voice that criticizes and judges, saying you're not good enough? Here's the point. If the voice inside you is one that limits you, it's keeping you trapped in a reality smaller than you deserve. And the scariest thing, that voice is what determines whether you'll stay where you are or take the next step towards success. The greatest spiritual leaders and thinkers in history already knew this. In Buddhism, we find the profound lesson of Buddha: the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And in Christianity, Proverbs 23:7 tells us, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." These words echo universal truths that transcend generations. What's inside you, the way you think, feel, and talk to yourself, is what creates your reality. But why does this matter so much? Because successful people have a secret that sets them apart. They control their internal dialogue. They talk to themselves like a coach, like a mentor, like a leader. While most people criticize and limit themselves, they use words that propel them forward. They don't say, "I can't do it." They say, "I don't know how yet, but I will." This difference, however small it may seem, is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who are left behind. I'm going to tell you a story to illustrate this. Once a young entrepreneur named John faced enormous difficulties. He had talent, but his business wasn't thriving. He thought, "I'm a failure. Nothing works out for me." And as a result, he sabotaged himself. Everything changed when he decided to change the way he talked to himself. He began to affirm daily, "I am abundance, I am prosperity. Success is in my DNA." At first it seemed strange, almost artificial. But over time, his mind began to believe it, and gradually his actions reflected that belief. Today, John leads a multi-million-dollar company, and it all started with changing the voice in his head. And here's a question I want you to deeply reflect on. Is what you're saying to yourself right now bringing you closer to or further away from success? Think about it, because the answer can change everything. If you're not yet convinced of the power of internal words, I want to share something even deeper. In Buddhism, there's a practice called metta bhavana, or loving kindness meditation. It's a simple but incredibly powerful exercise. In this meditation, you address yourself with compassion and kindness, saying phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be at peace." Now imagine the impact of starting each day talking to yourself this way, instead of starting with complaints, doubts, or self-punishment. And the Bible teaches us something very similar. In Philippians 4:8, it is written, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." It's no coincidence that both Buddhism and Christianity invite us to direct our thoughts to what is positive and uplifting. But let's go deeper. Why don't most people do this? Why is it so common for us to be our own worst critics? This happens because throughout life we absorb negative words from other people, parents, teachers, friends, and even society. These words get engraved in our minds and over time become part of our internal dialogue. But here's the liberating truth: you can rewrite that story. You can change the way you talk to yourself, and by doing so, change the course of your life. I want you to pause now. Ask yourself, if the words I say to myself were planted like seeds, what kind of harvest would I have? This question is important because words are like seeds. Words of encouragement generate a harvest of courage and confidence. Words of criticism generate doubt and fear. And here's something I want you to start doing today. Every time you notice you're saying something negative to yourself, replace those words with something positive. For example, instead of saying, "I'll never be able to earn enough money," say, "I'm learning to attract wealth into my life." It seems simple, but the impact of this is immense. If you're with me this far, write in the comments, "I am committed to making money and becoming wealthy." Because by declaring this, you're taking the first step to transforming the way you talk to yourself. Now that you've started to understand the power of the words you use with yourself, it's time to go deeper. I want you to imagine the following. Every thought you have, every phrase you say to yourself is like a brick being placed in the construction of your life. And if I asked you now, are you building a mansion or a prison with these words? The answer to this question is something only you can give. But what I'm going to show you now is how successful people use this same metaphor to build extraordinary lives, while most don't even realize they're building walls around themselves. If you pay attention to the stories of people who have achieved great things, whether they are spiritual leaders, entrepreneurs, or even elite athletes, you'll see a pattern. They have an internal conversation that's almost like a script for victory. Even in moments of difficulty, they choose words that motivate them, that make them keep going, even when the world seems to be against them. I'll tell you something curious. Studies in neuroscience show that the brain doesn't distinguish very well between what's real and what's repeated consistently. That is, if you start affirming to yourself, "I am rich, I am strong, I am capable," your brain begins to accept this as truth. This isn't magic, it's science. And here's something fascinating. In Buddhism, this practice of repeating positive affirmations is known as mantras. Mantras are sounds or phrases that carry a powerful vibration. When you repeat a mantra, you're not just creating a mental habit, but also aligning your internal energy with what you want to manifest. One of the best-known mantras in Buddhism is Om Mani Padme Hum, which represents the purification of body, mind, and spirit. Although it may seem distant to some, think of it as a practical example of how repeating positive words can change your perception and, eventually, your reality. Now, let me make a direct connection with the Christian faith, because there's a powerful message here as well. In Mark 11:23, Jesus tells us, "Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them." See the emphasis here. What they say. This isn't just a suggestion. It's a profound teaching about the power of our words, and especially what we affirm with faith. Have you ever stopped to think about the power of your words? They're not just sounds in the air, they're energy in motion. And the most impressive thing is that this energy, when directed consistently, can change the course of your life. Successful people know this, and that's why they train their minds to speak words of victory, even when circumstances don't seem favorable. Allow me to share another inspiring story. This one is about a woman named Anna, who dreamed of starting her own business but was paralyzed by fear. Anna always said to herself, "I don't know how to do this. I'm not smart enough. I don't have money." These words, repeated day after day, created an invisible barrier that prevented her from acting. Everything changed when she decided to replace those words with affirmations of power. Every day she began to say, "I am creative, I am capable, opportunities come to me easily." It wasn't immediate, but over time, Anna began to see changes. She found a mentor, secured funding, and today leads a successful company. Was this a coincidence? No. It was the result of a radical change in what she said to herself. And now I ask, what are the invisible barriers that you're creating in your life because of the words you use? Maybe you're saying things like, "I'll never get rich. I don't deserve this. I'm not lucky." And by doing this, you're building your own prison. But the good news is that you can destroy those walls at any time. It all starts with a decision, the decision to change the way you talk to yourself. I'm going to give you a practical exercise. Take a piece of paper and write down right now 3 phrases that you usually say to yourself that limit you. It could be something like, "I'm not good enough," "I can't handle money," or "I'm not smart enough." Then next to each of these phrases, write a new affirmation that represents the opposite of that. For example, instead of "I can't handle money," write "I'm learning to attract and manage money wisely." Instead of "I'm not smart enough," write "I am capable of learning anything I need." This may seem simple, but it's incredibly powerful. I want you to do this now, and if you can, share one of these affirmations in the comments. Let's create an environment of change and motivation. Write something like, "I am capable of achieving anything I desire," or "I am committed to making money and becoming wealthy." And here's something even deeper for you to reflect on. Your inner voice isn't just a reflection of what you think. It's a powerful tool that can be trained. And like any skill, the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. In Buddhism, there's a metaphor about the mind that says it's like a wild elephant. If left unchecked, it can cause destruction. But when trained, it becomes the greatest force you can have. This same lesson appears in the Bible when Paul exhorts us to renew our minds, Romans 12:2. It's the same principle. You have the power to train your mind to align with your goals. But be warned, this doesn't mean it will be easy. Changing the way you talk to yourself requires effort, consistency, and vigilance. You'll have days when your mind will try to return to old patterns. But if you persist, you'll begin to see results. And the best part? These results won't just come in the mental field. They'll start to appear in all areas of your life, in your finances, in your relationships, and in your overall well-being. So, the question now is, are you willing to take control of your mind? Are you willing to train your inner voice to be your greatest ally instead of your greatest enemy? If the answer is yes, write in the comments, "I am ready to change my life now," because change starts with your decision. Have you ever realized how your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy? Think about this. While you live your routine, there's a constant voice in your head, narrating each moment, commenting on each decision, judging, planning, dreaming. And this voice, which seems so automatic, is what shapes everything in your life. The way you talk to yourself isn't just a reflection of what you feel or think. It's one of the most determining factors of your success. Now, if I told you that the most successful people in the world master this internal voice in a way that seems almost supernatural, would you believe it? But it's not supernatural. It's a skill. And throughout this journey, you'll understand how to train it. You'll realize that your mind is like a fertile field. What you plant in it, it inevitably makes grow. The big question is, what are you planting? Are you cultivating thoughts that strengthen you, Or are you allowing weeds to grow and dominate the space? Let me share something powerful with you. There's a story in the Buddhist tradition that speaks of a young monk who was always tormented by negative thoughts. He said to himself, "I'm not worthy. I'll never achieve enlightenment. I'm a failure." One day he decided to seek out his master, desperate, and said, "Master, my mind is like a battlefield. I feel like there are two sides constantly fighting within me, one that says I'm capable and another that says I'm a failure. What do I do?" The master, with his usual calm, replied, "The struggle will always be there, my young one, but the side that wins is the one you feed." Now think about this lesson applied to your life. We all have these two inner voices, one that propels us forward and another that sabotages us. And just like the young monk, it's up to you to decide which one you will feed. Successful people have understood this. They feed the voice that says, "I am strong, I am capable, I am worthy of abundance." And over time, that voice becomes so powerful that the other loses its strength. In Christianity, we find a similar teaching. In 2 Corinthians 10:5, we read, "Taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ." What does this mean? That you have the power to capture every thought, to bring it under your control, to choose what stays and what should be discarded. It's the same message. You are the guardian of your mind. Nothing enters or remains there without your permission. But here's something important. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. Changing the way you talk to yourself is like training a muscle. In the beginning, it may seem difficult, even uncomfortable. You might even think, "This doesn't work for me." But with practice and consistency, you will begin to see subtle changes and then radical transformations. I'm going to share with you an exercise that can start changing your life today. Every day when you wake up, before picking up your phone or diving into the demands of the world, take 5 minutes to talk to yourself positively. It may seem simple, but these 5 minutes can set the tone for your entire day. Say phrases like, "I am capable of overcoming any challenge. Today, I choose to thrive. I am in control of my life." Say these words with conviction, even if at first they feel strange. Repetition is key. Remember, your brain learns through habit, and it doesn't stop there. During the day, whenever you notice negative thoughts arising, stop, breathe, and ask yourself, is this true, or is it just fear trying to control me? Often, the thoughts that sabotage us have no basis in reality. They are just reflections of fears and insecurities that we have accumulated throughout life. When you start to question these thoughts, something magical happens. They lose their power. In Buddhism, there's a practice called mindfulness. It's the act of being completely present, observing your thoughts without judging them, but also without clinging to them. When you start to practice this, you realize that you don't have to believe everything your mind tells you. You gain the power to choose what to focus on. It's like Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness, this space of pause, is where you find the clarity to decide what is real and what is not. Now let me ask you a direct question. Are you being your greatest ally or your greatest enemy? This is a serious question because most people, without realizing it, spend their lives sabotaging themselves. They don't need external enemies because the voice within them already does the job. But here's the good news. You can change that. And you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be committed. I want you to do one thing now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the life you want. See every detail. Your home, your achievements, your finances, your relationships. Now ask yourself, is the way I'm talking to myself today bringing me closer to or further away from this vision? This question is important because it puts you in control. It makes you realize that yes, you have the power to change. If you're with me so far, write in the comments. I am feeding the voice of success within me because this is the first step to transformation, declaring your commitment. And remember, your mind is always listening. The more you affirm something, the more it believes it. Now, I'm going to share something that may seem simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Every day, find a moment to look in the mirror and say to yourself, I believe in you. You are worthy of abundance. You are stronger than you think. It may seem strange at first, but trust me, this practice has the power to change not only how you feel, but also how you act. After all, as the saying goes, you can't conquer the world until you learn to conquer yourself. And this leads us to something that successful people understand very well. They not only talk to themselves positively, they also act according to those words. Because there's no point in saying, I am capable, if your actions continue to reflect doubt. So the next step is to align your words with your actions. If you believe you are worthy of success, start acting like someone who is already on the path to success. We're building something powerful here, and in the next step, we're going to explore what it really means to act from this new mindset. Don't leave yet, because what's coming next could completely change the way you see your choices and your results. Now that you're starting to master your inner conversation, let's take the next step. Think about it. If the words you say to yourself are like seeds, and your actions are like the water that nourishes them, what happens if you plant the right seed but don't act to water it? Nothing grows. That's why, in addition to transforming the way you talk to yourself, you need to align your actions with this new mindset. Successful people don't just believe they are capable, they live as if it were already a truth. And here's the secret that almost no one reveals. Success doesn't happen from the outside in. It happens from the inside out. Everything starts in your mind, but it only manifests in the real world when your actions reflect what you believe. In Buddhism, there's a concept called karma, which many mistakenly understand as destiny. But in fact, karma means action. It's the idea that every choice you make, every action you take, creates a reaction in the universe. And the more intentional and aligned your action is, the more powerful your rewards will be. Now, let's connect this with Christian teachings. In James 2:26, we read, "Faith without works is dead." Think about the weight of that phrase. You can have all the faith in the world, you can repeat all the positive affirmations, but if there is no action, nothing will happen. Faith is believing. Works are acting. The true secret of successful people is that they not only talk positively to themselves, they act as if those words were already a reality. Let me share a story. This is about a man named Carlos, who had a dream of opening a bakery. He had the talent, he had the desire, but he didn't believe it was possible. He would say to himself, "This isn't for me. I don't have the resources. I'm not good enough." But one day, Carlos decided to change. He started saying to himself every day, "I am worthy of success. I am capable of transforming my life. I am a successful entrepreneur." But he did more than that. He started to act. He researched about businesses, took free courses, and even started selling bread door to door. In less than a year, he opened his bakery. Today, it's one of the best known in his city. What changed? Carlos changed the way he talked to himself, but more importantly, he aligned his actions with his new words. And here's something you need to understand. You don't have to have everything ready to start acting. You just need to start. Many wait for the perfect conditions, but successful people create those conditions. They believe they are already capable, and therefore they act with confidence, even in the face of uncertainties. Now, I want you to think about your own life. What are you putting off because you think you're not ready yet? Maybe it's a business opportunity, an important conversation, or even an old dream that you've kept in the back of a drawer. I want you to understand one thing. You'll never be 100% ready, and that's okay. The important thing is to start where you are, with what you have. That's how successful people do it. And here's an important reflection. When was the last time you really invested in yourself? And I'm not just talking about money, but about time, energy, effort. Successful people are always investing in their growth. They read, they study, they learn from their mistakes. They understand that the greatest wealth they can accumulate is not material, but knowledge and wisdom. In Buddhism, there's a concept called upaya, which means skillful means. It's the idea that to achieve growth, you need to use the right tools at the right time. In Christianity, we see a similar teaching in Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. This teaches us that while you act, you also need to be strategic. It's not just about working hard, but about working smart. And here's something that successful people do brilliantly. They turn their mistakes into learning. They know that every failure is an opportunity for growth. If something doesn't work, they don't allow themselves to fall into a cycle of self-criticism. Instead, they ask, what can I learn from this? Because in the end, success is not about avoiding failures, but about learning from them and moving forward. Now, I want to invite you to pause. Close your eyes again. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. What do you want your life to be like? See every detail. And now ask yourself, are the actions I'm taking today bringing me closer to or further away from this vision? This question is powerful because it forces you to face reality. If your actions are not aligned with the life you want, the time to change is now. I want you to write in the comments, I choose to align my words and actions with my success, because this statement is the first step to transformation. And remember, your mind is always listening. Every word you say to yourself is a seed. Every action you take is water. If you plant and water consistently, there is nothing that can prevent the growth of an extraordinary life. And now we come to the most important point of all, the final lesson. Throughout this video, we've talked about how to transform your mind and align your actions. But there's something even deeper that connects all of this. What I'm going to share now is the most powerful secret of successful people, something that can completely change the way you see yourself and the world. This lesson is about identity. Ultimately, it doesn't just matter what you say or do. What really matters is who you believe you are. Successful people don't just talk to themselves positively. They deeply believe that they are already what they desire to be. They don't say, I will be successful. They say, I am successful. This small change in language makes all the difference because when you believe you already are, your actions begin to reflect that belief. So I want you to ask yourself now, who do I believe I am? Because your answer to this question is what determines the course of your life. If you believe you are worthy of abundance, you will act like someone who is worthy. If you believe you are capable of overcoming challenges, you will face life with courage. Everything starts and ends with your identity. And here is the challenge I want to leave for you. Every day for the next 30 days, look in the mirror and say, I am abundance. I am capable. I am worthy of everything I desire. Do this with conviction, even if at first it seems strange, because the more you repeat it, the more your mind will start to believe it. And when you believe, the universe conspires in your favor. If you've watched this far, write in the comments, I am the change I wish to see in my life. This is your declaration of commitment. This is your seed. And over time, you will see the fruits of this transformation. With gratitude and love, I thank you for being here today. May the divine light and the calmness of mind always be with you. If you liked this content, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. And remember, the secret to success is within you. Now, it's time to act.